Now let's continue on William versus Cowardin. Yes, what happened in William versus Cowardin? It involved also the case of reward. Okay, similar facts whereby it's involved a reward of giving information about the murderer. And if you look at this case, it involved the wife of the murderer who gave the information. And the issue arises in this case whether she was entitled to the reward or not. Because at the time of giving the information, she said that she gave the information because to ease her conscience and in the hope of forgiveness thereafter. And they try to say that she had other motive, means that she didn't want the reward, but the purpose was to get the forgiveness in the hereafter. And the court held that actually she was entitled to the reward even though the motive was different. Okay, it should be the motive to get the reward, but the court ignore the motive in this case. If we differentiate with the case of Clark, the court say that the motive is very important. But for the case of William versus Cowardin, the motive was irrelevant. Alright? Next, we move to the rule on invitation to treat. Are you ready? Yes. So, for invitation to treat, we need to differentiate actually between offer and also invitation to treat. So normally, okay, when we make an offer, so we need to consider whether there is an invitation before. So we can look at this example here, and these differences. We have proposal versus invitation to treat. What is invitation to treat? Yes, it is not a proposal. So it just invite the others to make an offer or to negotiate the offer. Yes, invite. So invite the person. And whereby for proposal it may amount directly to an acceptance, but for invitation to treat it would lead to a proposal but not to an acceptance first. And for proposal it should be no negotiation. And the example on proposal here, if you look at this one, we have lost and found goods, for example. Or maybe if you look at this example, is about lost cat. Okay, this is the example of proposal, whereby the person make a proposal, he make an offer to give a reward for those who find and return his cat. Alright, next we move to the difference between proposal, the example, and also invitation to treat. This is actually, if you look at the definition here, invitation to treat, it is a sort of preliminary communication which passes between the parties at the stage of negotiation, right? And then if you look at this example, we have advertisement here. What kind of this advertisement? Yes, it's about a car for sale. If you look at this advertisement, it doesn't involve a reward, right? and it lead to actually a negotiation between the buyer and seller. Yes, you must take note, there is a negotiation. So under the law, if the person placed that advertisement, it is known as invitation to trade. It is not an offer. All right. Let's move to the next one. This is on how it works. Okay. So sometimes there may be invitation to trade come first, followed by, of course, it must be a proposal, acceptance, and there is a formation of contract. Next. Okay, I provide also additional example here. Okay, you can see the difference here. We have offer, for example, involve a buyer and seller, A and B. It will be a specific offer or general offer, but for this one, I may say this is a specific offer because A offered to B to sell his car, and B would accept, maybe B accept to buy that car. So there is offer to sell and accept to buy. And how about invitation to trade? So if look at just now the advertisement for a car for sale. If look at this advertisement, we have the person who put the advertisement, Mr. A, for example. So Mr. A is making an invitation to trade. Yes, he made an invitation to trade when there is an offer. So offer is when, for example, B, C, or D or E. Okay, D, it means that they try to negotiate, okay, the price, and at the same time they offer to buy the car. And in this case, the person who accept to sell would be, yes, E. He is the person who would decide who will be entitled to the car, either B, C, D, or E. So that's the principles. Can you understand? So it differs with just now, the previous example, we have A and B. So whereby B would accept. Okay, but for invitation to trade, normally the person who accept is normally, for example, the seller, right? And he have the option, okay, to choose the buyer. So actually invitation to trade is very important because in the advertisement, for example, sometimes we have a limited goods and limited product, so we will make an invitation to trade, and this would be what we call, this would be a good situation to the seller, whereby he can choose, okay, he can choose to sell the goods to anyone he likes. Okay, this is on how invitation to trade, the principle of invitation to trade works. All right, next. Okay, we have the examples of invitation to trade. Other than advertisement, we have so many examples of invitation to trade. So you need to bear in mind all these examples. Okay, we will discuss in detail the example of invitation to trade.